Hi team, this is Unit 1, Lesson 4, which is going to be the August 26th lesson, which is a Monday lesson. This is still focusing on 3.08.1, interpreting products of whole numbers, being able to recognize that 5 times 7 is identifying the total number of objects in 5 groups with 7 objects in each group, which is the building understanding from the last 3 core content days. Today, though, it's actually writing and interpreting multiplication stories, using the understanding of multiplication and solving for a total within numbers of groups. So this understanding 5 groups, 7 objects in each group, and the total objects being the product is going to be pivotal for them to be able to actually write a story problem. Please make sure you read and annotate this, but what's tricky today is they're actually writing a story problem. And the key understanding is that multiplication story problems tell stories about situations with equal groups. That is the what key point that they need to have to build towards these how key points of creating by first thinking of equal groups as asking for a total, and then identifying equal groups and amount in each group and tells me to find the total. So in a story problem, the outcome must be that it has all 3 of these parts to get to the end point. CFS right here, neat picture of array, labeled multiplication equation. I also would say that this needs to be labeled also. Story problem includes groups with amount in each group, and story problem asks for the total. And so this is the questioning part rather than the giving part, because they're actually writing a story problem. Great. Stronger work outcomes on this exit ticket, still missing labels on the visual models, and then writing multiplication story problems. The picture is missing labels, so is the array, which is fine at the beginning, but then when you get to the story problem, Million has 4 cookies, there are 2 raisins on each cookie. They actually should go back and put the labels on that to show their understanding of it. What is the story problem? What is a story about? Equal groups that I can tell. What is a story about? Equal groups? This doesn't make any sense. What is a story about equal groups that I can tell? What is an equal group? Whatever. Okay, that's just frustrating. Please make sure you go through and heavily annotate this for where you are going to ask kids to track, to turn and talk, how you're going to infuse that really clear direction building. And then again, I'm going to say this over and over again, this is actually a strong tool that Achievement First has provided us. All right, the modeled work. This is not how you model the work for kids, this is how I'm modeling the work for you. So the first thing, write a multiplication story problem that matches 4 times 2 equals question mark. So my annotations here that I'm going to go after, big problem, I need to create a multiplication story problem. I think task 1 is to identify groups, amount in each group, and then total. And then task 2 is to create representation. And task 3 is to write story problem. I'll put SP for right now. Annotation, representation. I'm going to start with 4 times 2 equals question mark. This is 4 groups, and I'll go back and put the real labels on later. This is 2 amount in each group, and this is my total. And now I'm actually going to create a visual model. I have 4 groups, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 in each group, and total is unknown. Before I have my labels for my story problem, I'm going to write 4 groups and label this with 2 in each group. And then solving doesn't need to happen, but I'm going to do it for this problem because I want kids to see it's like, yes, you're going to write the story problem, but we can also always find the answer. From here, I can solve and say the answer is 8 for groups, 2 in each group, and this is 8 total. Now the question I'm asking myself, which is confusingly phrased here, what is the story about equal groups that I can tell? If I want to think about stories about equal groups, I can think about plants in pots, I can think about dogs at the park, I can think about cups with candy in them, anything that creates equal groups. My go-to is generally a basket problem. So Sarah has how many groups? 4 And then the word groups is going to change to baskets here. Baskets. And then the amount in each group, 2, I'll do cookies in baskets. She has, this is the thinking that should have happened before I started writing the story problem. She has 2 cookies in each basket. And now here's the question. I need to figure out the total. Is it how many total baskets or how many total cookies? Because the amount in each group was cookies, my total needs to be cookies in all. How many total cookies in all? To have kids do this work, I would first start them with saying, today we're going to write multiplication story problems that match equations. The first thing you need to do is think through your annotations, create representations of the multiplication problem, and then think to yourself, here, what do my groups represent, what do my amount in each group represent, and what does my total represent? This then is going to allow them to go here. You let them go ahead and solve this. Then, as a teacher, you're going to share out 1, 2, 3 of these, and you should actually find 1 that's multiplication, 2 that represents addition, because you'll have a kid that say, Sarah has 4 baskets, she has 2 more baskets, how many total baskets does she have? And asking them which actually represents multiplication, equal group problem. Another way to extend kids' learning is to actually have them swap problems and solve each other's problems.